Life does not take our dreams away. We lay them down, little by little, until one day we barely remember we ever had them. The moments slip by quietly, one compromise at a time, one small surrender to convenience, fear, or doubt. It feels harmless in the moment, almost reasonable, and yet each act of quiet surrender is a brick in the wall that separates us from the life we once imagined. We are taught to measure life in milestones, in achievements, in the applause of others. And while those things have their place, they are not life itself. Life is not trophies, promotions, or visible success. Life is the vitality of the mind, the courage of your choices, the energy you bring to each day. Many live as if they are immortal, postponing courage, adventure, and meaning for the someday that never arrives. They think life is waiting for them to feel ready, as though the world will pause and adjust its rhythm to their timidity. But the truth is far more relentless. The world does not pause, and the clock moves for no one. We stop living long before we die. Not from misfortune, not from circumstance, not from failure, but from surrender. From a quiet, persistent habit of living on the margins of our potential. Some give up their curiosity. Others abandon risk. Many cease to invest in themselves, settling instead for a life that is tolerable but uninspired. Years pass, and then decades, and the question finally surfaces, unbidden and uncomfortable. Is this all there is? It is not ingratitude speaking. It is clarity knocking, a signal from your deeper self that has been ignored too long. It is asking you to account for your own existence. And yet there is hope, because life's theft of vitality is never absolute. It can be reversed. The spark can be reignited. A man can choose in any moment to begin living again, not in some distant future, not when conditions are perfect, but now, in the ordinary, uncelebrated present. The first step toward reclaiming life is understanding one principle. Living fully is not about adding more to your schedule. It is about aligning your mind, your values, and your actions with a purpose you recognize as truly yours. A man who has clarity does not wait for motivation, inspiration, or perfect conditions. He moves because he understands where he is going, and more importantly, who he must become to get there. Every choice, every effort, every challenge is no longer a distraction or a burden. It is the forge of his character, the instrument through which life becomes meaningful. And when that alignment begins, ordinary effort is transformed. Repetition is no longer tedious. Obstacles are no longer discouraging. Time is no longer a thief. It is an ally. And the quiet life of compliance and postponement gives way to a life of purpose, discipline, and courage. This is the life worth pursuing, not the life handed to you by circumstance, not the life measured by outward recognition, but the life claimed deliberately, step by step, decision by decision, in the small but persistent acts that define who you truly are. Because in the end, the question is not whether you will die, it is whether you will have lived. Why so many stop? Truly living long before their time. Most men and women stop living far before their days are counted, not because of illness or misfortune, but because they settle, they shrink, they choose comfort over courage, routine over possibility, safety over growth. It begins innocently, a decision to avoid a small risk, a choice to ignore a whisper of curiosity, a promise to oneself that later will be better, and later never comes. One small compromise becomes a habit, and habit becomes a life. People stop living when they cease to measure themselves against their own potential, when they stop asking hard questions. Am I using my mind fully? Am I challenging myself? Am I becoming the person I could be? Without these questions, the days pass, full of motion but empty of purpose. Tasks are completed, obligations are met, yet there is no sense of growth, no spark of mastery, no feeling that life is being earned rather than merely endured. Indecision, fear, and distraction quietly rob a person of vitality. They claim time not with violence, but with subtlety. A man does not notice he is fading until the fire within has dimmed almost to embers. And yet, those who continue to push, to stretch, to demand more of themselves, feel life differently. They wake to possibility. They approach each day with attention. They are aware that every choice, every step, matters. Life is not a series of obligations. It is a process of creation. It is not wealth that saves a man from mediocrity. It is not accolades. It is not the recognition of others. It is self-governance, self-awareness, and a refusal to surrender small pieces of oneself, even when no one is watching. To truly live, a man must reclaim his mind from the trivial, the habitual, the expected. He must consciously choose action that matters, reflection that clarifies, and effort that builds both skill and character. The difference between those who merely exist and those who live fully is often invisible at first. It is measured not in titles, not in possessions, not in outward success. It is measured in attention, in courage, in the deliberate pursuit of a life aligned with purpose. And it is urgent. Every day spent in passive acquiescence is a day irretrievably lost. The clock never pauses. The body ages. The mind dulls. And the question emerges, when will you stop postponing and start living? The man who understands this begins to see his life as a series of choices, each an opportunity to reclaim what had been surrendered. And with every choice, vitality returns, energy returns, focus returns. Life, at last, feels like life again. How clarity transforms ordinary effort into meaningful progress. Effort by itself is noise, motion without direction, repetition without reason, energy spent without a plan. This is what most call working hard. And yet, without clarity, it produces little more than exhaustion and frustration. A man can pour years into labor and come away empty, not because he lacked will, but because he lacked focus. Clarity changes everything. It is the quiet architect of achievement. When a person understands where he is going and why, effort ceases to be scattered. Each action is no longer a roll of the dice. Every task, every choice, every sacrifice is filtered through a single question. Does this move me toward what I intend or away from it? And once that filter exists, ordinary effort is transformed into momentum. Tasks that once seemed tedious now have purpose. Obstacles that once felt overwhelming now become guideposts, showing where adjustments are needed. The mundane becomes meaningful because it is directed. Water poured into a leaky vessel will disappear. Water guided into a channel, even a small one, has the power to shape valleys and carve rivers over time. Clarity is that channel. Effort flows through it, and over time, small actions accumulate into visible, undeniable progress. A man with clarity does not need to force every day. He does not measure life by busy hours or scattered activity. He moves steadily because his mind has settled. The clutter of indecision, the anxiety of what if, and the temptation of trivial pursuits are minimized. His energy is concentrated where it counts, and the results follow naturally. Clarity does not make the journey effortless. Work is still required. Sacrifice is still required. The challenge remains. But the difference is profound. The man who acts with understanding finds that his labor is no longer wasted. It is compounded. It is refined. It builds character as well as accomplishment. Progress itself becomes its own teacher. Every completed task, every small success, every disciplined choice reinforces the pattern. Confidence grows quietly. Discipline becomes habitual. Purpose becomes a rhythm rather than a constant struggle. Without clarity, a man drifts. With clarity, a man sails. The wind does not have to be perfect. The storms do not have to cease. He knows where the destination lies, and every stroke of the oar moves him closer. The ordinary becomes extraordinary when it is guided. Small, repeated acts, when aligned with understanding, accumulate into transformation. And that is why clarity is more than insight. It is the engine of achievement. Why chasing goals? Without understanding yourself leaves emptiness. There is a common trap that ensnares many ambitious men and women: the pursuit of goals without knowing the self that pursues them. Achievement, in such cases, becomes a hollow exercise. The work is done, the trophies are collected, the accolades arrive, and yet the soul remains untouched. A goal pursued blindly is like a river forced through a straight channel. It may reach the sea, but the water has no depth, no life. It moves, but it does not nourish. Similarly, a life spent chasing success without self-awareness may yield recognition, wealth, or titles, but it cannot create fulfillment. The problem begins with misunderstanding the purpose of goals. Many believe the goal itself will make them complete, will fill the gaps inside. They see the summit, the finish line, the prize, and imagine that reaching it will suddenly bring clarity, satisfaction, or meaning. It rarely does. The summit only illuminates what the climber already carries within. True fulfillment comes from aligning action with identity. Who are you becoming as you pursue this goal? What kind of integrity, resilience, and discipline are you cultivating along the way? If the path changes you for the worse, if it erodes patience, honesty, or courage, then even victory is a defeat. This is why clarity of self is indispensable. To pursue without understanding oneself is to build a house on sand. The structure may rise, impressive to onlookers, but it cannot stand the storms. Without inner alignment, every success is temporary, every gain fragile. The solution is simple, though rarely applied. Pause, reflect, examine not only what you want, but why you want it. Consider whether the actions required will produce a person you respect, a character you admire, a life you can stand behind. When desire is anchored in self-knowledge, effort acquires dignity. When action serves the man becoming, every step feels earned. Without this understanding, even extraordinary achievements leave an emptiness that no award, no recognition, no material gain can fill. That emptiness is subtle at first, a sense of fatigue, of dissatisfaction, but it grows with every milestone reached without reflection. The man arrives at success only to discover that the person he has become does not satisfy the mind, heart, or soul. In contrast, the individual who pursues with self-awareness transforms every goal into a teacher. Every challenge, every setback, every small victory contributes to the development of character, to the deepening of purpose. Success is no longer a destination. It becomes a reflection of the man, a mirror of his inner strength and growth. External achievement is worthless if it does not coincide with internal growth. The measure of progress is not in what you acquire, but in the person you become along the way. Goals without self-understanding are empty. Goals pursued in alignment with self are living, breathing proof of a life fully realized. How discipline, focus, and self-responsibility awaken a full life. A life fully lived is never accidental. It is forged in the quiet moments when a man chooses to master himself rather than surrender to circumstance. Discipline, focus, and self-responsibility are not restrictions. They are the instruments through which vitality, freedom, and purpose are realized. Discipline is the bridge between desire and fulfillment. It is the act of showing up day after day, even when the heart trembles, the body tires, or the mind whispers excuses. Discipline is choosing the long road over the easy path, the principle over the momentary temptation, the action that builds the man rather than the action that comforts him. It is the repetition of the right choices, small though they may seem, which creates a life of substance. Focus is its companion. Energy scattered in a dozen directions achieves little. Attention divided by distractions produces confusion, frustration, and mediocrity. But when a man cultivates focus, he concentrates not only his effort, but his intention. Every task, every decision, Every conversation becomes aligned with the direction he has chosen. The chaos of life no longer dictates the pace, the mind does. Focus transforms ordinary days into meaningful progress and ordinary actions into deliberate construction of the self. And then comes responsibility, the acceptance that the outcome of life rests squarely on one's own shoulders. To live fully is to own not only successes but failures, not only fortune but misfortune. When a man refuses to blame circumstances, others, or luck, he recovers the power to act decisively. Every choice is no longer a whim or a reaction. It is a deliberate step toward mastery of his own life. Responsibility awakens courage, confidence, and integrity because it recognizes that life's quality is the measure of one's own governance. When discipline, focus, and responsibility are combined, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Work that once felt burdensome gains meaning. Challenges that once felt daunting become opportunities. Time, once a relentless thief, becomes an ally, yielding growth, understanding, and depth to the man who governs himself. Observe closely. The men who move through life with calm authority are rarely the ones who possess more talent or luck. They are the ones who have embraced this triad of self-mastery. Their lives are orderly, not because the world is orderly, but because they are. Their energy is concentrated not on avoiding hardship, but on building themselves. Their actions are purposeful, consistent, and aligned with their inner compass. A full life, then, is not found in the applause of others, nor in the trophies one collects. It is found in the cultivation of character. Each act of discipline, each moment of focused attention, each assumption of responsibility is a brick in the foundation of a life that is truly alive. Without these qualities, even the brightest opportunities fade into distraction. Even the most thrilling successes leave the soul unsatisfied. With them, however, every day becomes rich with meaning. Every choice becomes an investment in the person you are becoming. Every challenge becomes a forge in which courage, resilience, and wisdom are tempered. In short, to live fully is to govern yourself with clarity, strength, and intention. To awaken a life of purpose, a man must choose discipline over ease, focus over chaos, and responsibility over blame. And it is in these choices, repeated relentlessly, that life becomes more than mere existence. It becomes a conscious creation of the person he is destined to be. Why the person you become matters more than any external achievement. At the end of a life, it is not the titles, wealth, or possessions that endure. These are fleeting, borrowed, easily lost. What remains, the only true measure of success, is the man himself, the character he built, the values he upheld, the courage he displayed, and the integrity he carried through every challenge. Achievement alone is hollow if it does not coincide with transformation. A promotion, a bank account, a medal, these are merely evidence of effort. They do not testify to the strength of character, the depth of resolve, or the wisdom gained along the way. Without inner growth, external success is a facade, a house without a foundation. The person you become in the process of striving determines the quality of your life far more than the goals you reach. Every choice, every sacrifice, every moment of perseverance shapes you. When you labor with focus, endure with patience, and act with integrity, you are building a self that can withstand any storm, a life that can withstand any disappointment, a man whose worth is independent of circumstance. Consider the contrast. A man may win the world, but lose himself. He may climb the ladder of success, yet find the air at the top thin and lifeless. Another may accomplish less in worldly terms, but if he has cultivated courage, discipline, and wisdom along the way, he possesses a richness that the world cannot take away. The difference lies not in the mountain reached, but in the climber who made the ascent. Every struggle, every setback, and every challenge is a teacher, but only if it is met consciously, only if the lessons are applied. The process, the effort, the waiting, the persistence, is the crucible in which character is forged. External success is merely the mirror reflecting the internal work already accomplished. This is why goals and achievements are important, but secondary. They are the occasion, not the essence. The essence is the person who pursues them with courage, clarity, and discipline. The essence is the man who refuses to compromise, who chooses effort over ease, who develops resilience in the quiet hours when no one is watching. If you understand this, the pursuit itself transforms. Success is no longer a distant point on a map. It becomes a journey of growth, learning, and refinement. Every action gains significance. Every setback becomes meaningful. Every day is an opportunity to shape the man you are becoming. And in the end, that is what remains. The person you are, the character you have built, the wisdom and courage you have earned, these are yours forever. All else is temporary. All else is borrowed. To live fully, to truly win, is to prioritize the inner life over the outer accolades. It is to measure progress not by what you have acquired, but by who you have become in the process. The man who understands this does not chase success for its own sake. He pursues growth, integrity, and mastery, knowing that the trophies of life, whatever form they take, are only meaningful when they reflect the strength and depth of the person who earns them.